Greetings, viewers. This is CP666 signing on once again with the backup server, which you can see right here. That was kind of loud. In all of its glory, if you can really call it that. The plan is to do a number of things, not the least of which is to replace this case, but we'll get onto that later. We've had a hard drive issue with the main drive, which I believe has straightened itself out, but I'm going to replace it anyway, because I've got some new ones that are basically exactly the same drive, 2 terabyte RE4s. I'm going to just swap it out, and, you know, because I might as well. There's no point in leaving a drive in there that may be having issues. So we'll pull it out. That's also the boot drive. I'm going to replace the boot drive with a 16 gigabyte Apacer SSD. And then I'm also going to split the RAID 10 into 2 RAID 0s, which I guess removes some of the data, integrity or whatever, but at the same time, I've got backups, so it's not like it's gonna be that big. It's a backup system, and I have backups of the backups, so it's not like it's going to be that big of a deal if something does happen. Just a minor inconvenience, really, but either way, I am going to go ahead and start with the drive replacement first, so I'm going to have to back up the configuration file and get a Zigmanaz USB stick prepared, and then we can go ahead and hopefully install the SSD and be done with that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and saved a backup of the config. So I am going to go ahead and shut this down. And when that's done, it's the top drive, the one that's up here. That is the one that I need to replace. You can see it there. Okay, there is the old drive, which, yes, says bad on it, except it wasn't bad when I got it, and it, I guess, technically still isn't bad, but here's one of the new ones that I picked up. I had got 2 of them for, I think it was about $15 a piece. Maybe it was a little bit more than that, I don't remember. But, it was a really good deal, so I figured, why not? I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, so we might as well. In any event, I'm lucky in this case because the drive is actually screwed in on the bottom of this, so I don't have to remove these side things. Although, obviously, I have to screw them back in properly, but I'm going to go ahead and swap this and get this all straightened out. Okay, so it looks like we are not missing anything. There were no degraded arrays or anything like that. So everything is installed. Again, some of this is temporary, just because I am changing the case, so I'm not going to worry so much about making sure everything is in place where it needs to go. Okay, well, it's trying. That's going to take forever, because for whatever reason from USB it feels the need to take forever. Okay, so none of that is configured at all. I want to install, it's option 9. We'll install embedded. Sure. That's fine. And there's only one option for the CD as the source, DA1. And where do we want to install it? Probably on a 16 gigabyte SATA flash drive. OS partition we'll leave alone. Recommended is 1024, we'll give it that. All to take whatever's left over. And that should work. And we should get an install. It might take a while. So I'll come back once it's installed and reboot it and we have a web console. Okay, so here's our config page. We'll come into Backup Restore. We'll restore I don't need a decryption password, but I gotta go over to the server. Move into here. I want config dumpster local, the most recent one. We'll open it. Restore config. I need to come over here and I need to go back into setup and change my boot order because apparently it got messed around with again. I guess this Asus board, for whatever reasons, decided that when you change the USB devices, it completely resets your boot order, which is ridiculous, like just completely ridiculous. I don't understand why it would do something so stupid. There's no other board on the planet that does, it's just this one. Which you can see, because now it's trying to boot to some other, I don't even know what. So, disable all this junk. I don't know why it would do that. But then it should boot, and the configuration will probably be all messed up because it's still with all the old drives, and I've changed the drive, and I'm sure that some of the drive numbers have changed and things like that, so we'll have to figure that out. But we'll let it boot. Okay, here we are, and yes, actually only one of them's missing, so that's good. It managed to figure out most of it on its own. So we'll go to disk management, and I'm going to go clear config before importing disks, and we'll import and see what it happens to do. Okay. I'm not sure why those two are reversed. That seems kind of silly. Go ahead and we'll apply those changes because it looks like everything is, for the most part, okay. But I'm going to have to go in and reformat that new drive, which says it's NTFS. Which it won't be in a moment. Hard drive format. 88.2. It should be UFS. Volume label should be backups 1. Everything should be fine. Otherwise, we'll hit next and we'll hit format. Something just made an interesting noise. Alright. It says it's done. So, cool. We'll hit OK. It's now UFS. I gotta go to mount point and edit the first mount point here. Or maybe not, because it won't let me edit it for whatever reason. That's ridiculous. So we'll remember our settings. In fact, I'm going to copy this just to save myself some time. We'll delete that. We'll add a new one. It's disk 88.2. Backups 1. Put that in, and everything should be okay. Duplicate mount point name, yeah. No. That's what I think of that. So we'll go in and we'll make it proper. Like it's supposed to be and should have been in the first place. We'll hit apply. And then in theory, everything should be okay. Except it's empty. So we will have to go into rsync, local, and I'm going to make sure that this is set up correctly so that it does not preserve permissions or anything, and we will execute that. And then that should end up with data on it, and we'll have to wait for that process to conclude before going any further. It's about 965 gigabytes it'll need to transfer. Okay, as you can see, it's finished. So I think that's basically a free pass to shut this down now. And proceed with the case swap, as well as the remainder of the hard drive configuration. Because now that I'm replacing 3 drives instead of 4, it should be relatively easy. Actually, it's possible. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been. Okay, that was annoying. As you can see, all the drives are out now. I'm not really sure what happened, but the last one was stuck. Seems really weird. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess I could pull the rest of this out now. Okay, so now we got another empty case, at least for the most part. I do have to put the bracket here back, but I'll do that later. I'm going to get this out of the way, I'll get the new one, and we will begin installing components. Okay, so here's our new case. We've got nice, lovely trays, although the problem is that they're all missing the special screws. I've only got one that's got the special screws in there. These 4 trays will be used for the RAID drives. do have 4 screws, so I guess it'll just be 1 screw per drive, which is a little annoying. But what can you do? So we'll take those, we'll get those out of the way for the time being, and we'll begin installing things. Okay, I've got it all figured out. The cables are managed as best as I can get. So hopefully this is going to work. I did hook up the bling in the front of the case. And what I want to make sure of first, I'm going to go into the BIOS. And I'm going to reset my boot order because I'm sure it's going to be messed up. And then we can go into the RAID BIOS and reconfigure our RAID arrays. I want to delete that array, create a RAID 0. We'll just call it backups 1 and backups 2. Device 1 and 2. Alright, 2 terabytes, create it. I'm going to create another one. Backups 2. Should only be 2 other options. We'll create it. Both of them show up as normal. I mean, I should now be good to go. And we can let it boot. And again, make sure that there are no discrepancies. Okay, I've put the machine back in the closet where it belongs. Because there's really no reason for it to be out here while I do this, because I've got a whole bunch of them that I obviously need to do now. So we're going to start by going from the emergency 2 to backups 2, because that seems like a logical place to start. And that one's probably going to take the longest. I'm only going to do one at a time, and the reason why I'm only going to do one at a time is because I want maximum bandwidth for this. So now it should be doing something. And as you can see, it is. So I'm not going to make you sit through that and watch this whole process. The thing is pretty much done anyway, so thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.